Hi there, welcome back to ET Now. Very good morning. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena. Over the next 1 hour, we'll take all your stock-specific queries with our experts. But before we begin with all the queries, a quick look at how the markets are faring. Ankita, another positive day coming in for the markets, especially today. We are finally holding up above that 25,000 level on the Nifty, with IT leading the pack yet again.
Absolutely, Kanishka. In fact, we are holding above the 25,000 as you mentioned. It is after 11th session that we are managing to scale those levels, and we are holding steady for now with more than 0.5% gain coming in on the Nifty. Nifty Bank also has managed to scale this 24,550 levels, and we are holding on to those gains. No selling pressure as of now. We are holding on to gains of 0.6% on Nifty Bank as well. The broader markets also lending us all the support that it can. In fact, if you put up the charts for mid-cap, that is trading up almost 1% in trade. Mid-cap there, and small caps also trading with gains of 1%. So, it's the broader market also that is lending a strong support to the market today. In fact, the advance decline ratio is also clearly in consensus for the advances today. India VIX is at 10.72 is where India VIX is at. But the sector, as far as the sectors is concerned, the Nifty IT is doing very well. Now remember, Nasdaq is sitting at record high levels, and Indian IT has also been seeing some bit of a recovery coming in. In fact, Nifty IT is the top sectoral gainer that's trading upwards of 2.5% today. OFSS, Persistent, Emphasis, Coforge, LTI, Mindtree, Wipro, both the large and the mid-cap space within the IT pack is doing very well. In fact, most of the constituents for Nifty IT is trading in the green. PSU banking names are also doing very well, trading with gains of 2+%. Union Bank, Bank of India, Indian Bank, Canara Bank, Maharashtra Bank, they're all trading with gains of 2.5+%. On the losing side, we have a Nifty Auto that's seeing some bit of profit booking that's coming in, because remember, Nifty Auto was doing well right after the the automakers decided to cut the pass on the benefits of GST. We did see autos doing well. Now auto, some bit of a profit booking is coming in. We can see Nifty Auto that's down 0.2%, and Nifty FMCG that has turned very, very flat right now. Nonetheless, trading in the red with cuts of 0.06%. Besides that, all the other sectors are doing pretty well in today's trading session. Some of the individual buzzers, then let's talk about some of the counters that are doing well. We do see the textile stocks that are buzzing. This Vardhman that's up 7%, Gokuldas Exports 5.5+% gains coming in, Bombay Dyeing, Raymond. These are all the counters that are doing very well in trade. Besides that, we also have Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy that's up 4.3%. We also have some Vardhana Motherson that is up 3%, and Blue Jet Healthcare that is trading with a downtick of 1.9% in the back of off of a sale of for 400 crores, where the promoter is offloading stake of almost 6.8%. But a big breaking coming in. Fitch has upgraded India's FY26 GDP growth forecast also to 6.9%. They see Indian inflation to pick up to 3.2% by the end of 2025. Now also, they expect India GDP growth to slow to 6.3% in FY27 and 6.2% in FY28. And the GST reforms is likely to modestly boost consumer spending in FY26. And they see RBI to start raising repo rate in 2027. They also see RBI repo rate cut by 25 basis points towards the end of this year, and they also feel that the losers, financial conditions is likely to feed through the investments, and domestic demand is a key driver of growth on strong consumer spending. So that's what Fitch is saying for now. That's the forecast that Fitch has given for India, and as of now, that's the top headline that is trickling in. Now that's how the market is shaping up. Good moves coming in, Kanishka, today. In the markets, we do see some bit of a respite coming in, and for now, we do see some sort of a stability there. There is no selling pressure as of now.
Absolutely. Some bit of stability is what it seems like at this point. Now, let's get started with all the queries then. Requesting our viewers to share their queries on WhatsApp. The number is flashing on your screen. In fact, we have also started taking live callers on the show, so do keep sending in your queries and we'll get back to you. Now, remember to mention your name, your stock name, your holding period, and the particular query that you have, and our experts will answer all your queries. Now, we are joined by Shahina Mukaddam, who's an independent analyst, and on the technicals, we are joined by Himen Kaparia, who's a technical associate DR Choksi Finserv, to answer all your stock-related queries. But before we start that, Himen, so let me come to you. Today, we are, staying above that 25,000 mark. But do you think it's going to sustain through this week and going forward? And if so, what are the next levels that we should be watching for the Nifty?
A very good morning to Kanishka. Thank you for having me. A very good morning to Ankita. Well, it's been a pleasant surprise because markets were wishy-washy. The bank nifty was weak. Things have taken a turnaround. I guess the INFI buyback triggered off a IT move. Nifty needs to sustain about 25,002. That's the first headache in the sense in terms of a resistance level, Kanishka. And we seem to be doing that. We need a closing. That happens, the next important level is 25,212. There is obviously a bullish gap today, which is a not big worry, but one, if it remains open, it's good. Out of 10 times, 8 times, the market tries to cover up the gap, especially indices. So if it gets covered up, there is that small risk of it coming down. If it doesn't, it's great. So as of now, things are nice. The VIX is at 10.75. So that is a good point to be in a bull scenario. IT is recovering. Things are looking better. Realty is oversold. So I'd say 25,002 important. Above that, 25,212 and above that, I believe that could trigger off something really, really nice. So as of now, those are the levels to look for. But yeah, things are looking better the way I see it.
All right, so that's the view on the market, Himen. Thank you so much for that. But let's get started with the show then. And with all the stock-specific questions that you've been sending us, the number is flashing on top of your screens. Please write in to us, and now you can also call us and join us live on the show. Let's get started with all the questions that you've been sending us. The first one is coming in from Venkat Ramani, who's writing in from Bangalore. He says he has Concor 200 shares at a buying price of 1,053. He wants to advise on whether it is a good time to average. The holding period is 15 months. Himen, let me come to you for this one. Concor, is it a good hold for the next 15 months? And if yes, then is it the right time to average in?
Actually, yeah, it's a good hold for the next 15 months. And yes, I also feel that it's a right time to average. Things should start looking a bit more better above 560. That's where traction could come in. But yes, the way I see it, oversold, downside limited, positive divergences. Long story short, I think it's a buy. But once again, I think one should not buy completely. Wait a bit because markets are just getting out of the woods. But yeah, it's a buy.
Okay, so that's the view on Concor. But moving on to the next query, we have our caller, Anupama, who's joining us from Bangalore. Hi, Anupama. Very good morning. Tell us, what's your query?
Yeah, good morning to all of you. Yeah, I'm having NTCP green shares, 970 shares at the rate of 111.0. Yeah, even after, even if it's giving good result also, why it's falling, the share is falling, I wanted to know.
Okay, Shaina, let me come to you for this one. NTPC Green, what's your view? As the the caller has pointed out, it's seen a good set of numbers, yet there's been some downtick in the stock. She's intending to hold it for a longer term period. So do you think she should continue to hold, and when can we see an upside, a greater upside there?
See, if the holding period is around 3 years, 2 to 3 years, then she can continue to hold. What I believe is that the problem is that in the shorter term, there's a lot of, in the sense, they have got order book position, strong order book position, but valuations are extremely expensive. So all the upside is actually captured in the price as of now. Being a new issue, I would believe that over the next couple of months, you could see some bit of profit booking, etc., or some exits that come about. So NTPC Green, in my view, for the shorter term, is not really going to make you too much of money in maybe over the next 1 year. If you want to, actually, you could switch from NTPC Green to NTPC. I believe there the valuations are more attractive, and if there is possibility that over the next 1 year you could get a better return in NTPC versus NTPC Green. So it's a switch if your holding is less than 1 to 2 years.
All right, I hope Anupama, your questions is answered. Thank you so much for calling us with your question. Let's move on to the next query that's coming in. The next question that's coming in is from Arvind, who's writing in from Chennai. He says he has 1,000 shares of Adani Green Energy at a buying price of 1,165. He wants to hold it for the next one odd year. Can he add more to average down the cost? Average down the cost, advice on that. Hemant, let me come to you for this. Adani Green, he's clearly sitting at a loss right now. Is it a good idea to average in at the current levels, and what are the targets that you would see for the next 1 year?
Okay. Firstly, yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to average, but we need a stop loss at 800 as a closing stop loss. That needs to be held. I know it's slightly far away, but that's from a long-term positional point of view. If you want a trading or a shorter-term stop loss, it's at 900, but for me, 800 is important. Things are beginning to look better. It hasn't done much over the last, uh, what, 3 years. Things are just beginning to look better. 1050 is a weekly level. Above it, things should start looking up. So yeah, a little bit of patience, but please keep the stop loss in place. It's a volatile stock.
Okay, so Adani Green Energy, a volatile stock, that's the word coming in. But moving on to the next query, this query is on KFinTech. This viewer, Professor George, he's writing in from Cochin. He has 100 shares of KFinTech at a price of 1,160 rupees. He wants to know what should he do now? Where is the stock headed from here? Hemant, so let me come to you on a short, from a short-term period, say 6 to 8 months. Where do you see the stock headed, KFinTech?
Firstly, the positive, a short-term bottom in place. 1140 is a level for things to percolate, or the positives to percolate to the weekly chart. Weekly closing above 1140 should make things better. Simply put, his time frame, I would say, we're at currently 1126.10. A possible price target of 1280 in his 6 to 8 month point of view for KFinTech.
All right, so that's the word coming in on KFinTech as far as the charts are concerned. Let's move on to the next question. This is coming from DK Kar from Kolkata. He says that he wants a long-term view on Trident. He has 200 shares at a buying price of 47. He has already held it for the last 3 to 5 years. It's now trading at only 28 rupees. He's sitting at a big loss here. Shaina, what would be your take on Trident? What should he be doing? Should he really start cutting his losses and book out? Can there be more upside in the next 1 odd year?
Well, I believe that there is going to be some pain that they may face given the tariffs on textiles that the U.S. government has imposed, and they do have a sizable sales to the U.S. market. In addition, they have got another business line also, which is more domestic oriented. But I would believe it's a small cap, and in terms of valuations. It is on the higher side. So any underperformance in terms of numbers, you would see the stock remain consolidate or correct. So I would say I don't think it is the right time to average. You could wait out for a couple of quarters if you want to average, and if you want to hold on, you could hold on, and you could keep a stop loss close to about maybe 25 rupees would be a good stop loss.
Okay, so that's the view on Trident. But moving on to the next query, we have our caller Raja who's joining us now. Hi Raja, very good morning. Please tell us which is the stock that you want advice on and what's your particular query.
Madam, good morning, madam. Hello, madam. I have IRFC shares 1370, madam. At the rate I bought at the rate 163 rupees, madam.
Okay. Shaina, let me come to you. The viewer... Correct. Right. The question is on IRFC, Shaina. Let me come to you. The caller has 1,370 shares of IRFC at a price of 163. Should they continue to hold or sell at the current juncture?
I would say it is better to sell and switch. Valuations are expensive. It's about 3 times book. So there are better quality stocks available in the NBFC sector compared to IRFC. So it is a switch. I would say exit.
All right, an exit call coming in on IRFC. I hope, Raja, we've got your question answered here. But with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side. We'll keep answering your questions. Keep sending them in. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're tuned to Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Kanishka Sarkar. And this is a show where we get all your stock-specific questions answered. The number is still flashing on top of your screens. You can keep writing into us. And now we're joined by a live caller. Dikshita is joining us on the phone line. Dikshita, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us what's your question.
Yeah, I want to know about Banco products. Actually, I bought it 2 years back, and I have hold 100 shares of Banco products. I'm currently in profit, but last week fully I saw it going down. The share price is going down. So, would like to know what is the long-term view and what should I do?
All right, long-term view. Firstly, let me come to you, Himain, for a tech check, a quick tech check, and then China, probably we can come to you for the long-term view.
45 to 690 over the last 6 years. Phenomenal multi-bagger. Quick tech check. The bigger picture is positive, but currently it's entered a consolidation phase. It's going to take some time.
Right. So that's the tech check for Banco products. China, let me come to you for the longer term view. 1 year period is what Dikshita is looking for. Tell us what's your view on Banco products.
I would say you can continue to hold because the numbers are very strong, strong growth both in terms of top line as well as profits. It's a small cap company. So I would say you could hold as of now.
Okay, so a whole call on Banco products. I hope your query was answered. Thank you so much for joining us. But moving on to the next query then, this is coming from Krishna, who's writing in from Bangalore. They have 70 shares of LG equipment at a price of 616 rupees. They are currently sitting at a loss. They've been holding the stock for a period of about 3 years. What should they do now? Shaina, let me come to you. Do you think they've already been holding the stock for a period of 3 years? Do you think they should continue to hold it, or should they book out the loss?
Wait for a couple of maybe weeks to sort of see the impact of the cut in GST on the pumps compressors that LG equipment makes, and if they are able to actually increase volumes and take advantage of this. So as of now you could hold. It's a small cap, but then you could keep a stop loss and maybe close to about 440 and hold it for some more time and see how the volumes evolve.
All right, so that's algae equipment. Let's move on to the next question that is coming in from, this one's coming from Dayanand RK from Bengaluru. He says he has Bajaj Housing Finance. For the last 6 months, he's been holding it. He's bought it at a buying price of 140 rupees. Currently, he's sitting under a loss. Is it a right time to average at the current market price? And and he would like to know the outlook for the share for the next 6 to 12 months time. So short-term time horizon, Himain, Bajaj Housing Finance, he's sitting at a loss. What should he do? Should he really average in 6 to 12 months enough for the stock to move up?
Ankita, I'd like to pass the query because there is not enough. Okay, we have data for maybe around 10 months or so. Probably not enough to take a 1 year view. It's a relatively new listing.
You for this then?
My view is expensive compared to the other housing companies. So I would say you could switch. I would prefer a PNB Housing or even Hoodco, which is a government company, as a switch from Bajaj Housing. No doubt that the promoter group is very strong, but in terms of valuation, I think it will, because of high valuation, expensive valuation, it will consolidate for some more time before you can see any meaningful upside. So it could be a switch.
So a switch call is what Shaina has given. But moving on to the next query then. This is Satya. He's writing about, he wants to know about Bharat Forge. Himain sir, he is asking whether Bharat Forge or Gravita, which would be a better pick for the short term?
Bharat Forge has moved 10%. So I'm not sure if it quantifies as a buy on the short term. Medium term, yes. So probably no. I'll just check out Gravita. Gravita looks relatively better. Hasn't done much. Oversold has been down for 6 weeks in a row. Downside appears limited. We're at 1672. Please keep a shorter term stop loss at 1645 or a positional stop loss at 1620. Till it doesn't cross 1720, don't expect anything to happen.
Okay, so that's the short-term view. But China, let me come to you. What do you think is a better pick from a long-term perspective? Bharat Forge, of course, is one of those companies where you have to have their order timeline and revenues show up much later once orders are placed. So, do you think from a long-term perspective, maybe Bharat Forge would be better, or would you also go with Gravita for a longer-term view?
Basically, Bharat Forge is, in my view, a safer bet because while the short term may be a bit iffy because they have exports to US which are impacted, but at the same time, I think with lower GST for the domestic market as well as defense play, they have got very good orders. So I would say if you're a safe player and you want to not really keep churning your portfolio, then Bharat Forge at current levels would be a safer bet for the long term.
All right, moving on then to the next question that's coming in from Sudha. Wants a long-term advice here. Sudha is holding SBI Life and Max Health and sitting at a profit of 25%, but says that the stocks are not going up since the last 6 months. What should I do? Shaina, a long-term bet. Last 6 months the stocks haven't moved, but Sudha is already sitting at a profit of 25%. Should Sudha book out?
I think Max Health is a pretty interesting stock at current levels. So between the two, I would prefer a Max Health. There, I think the valuations vis-a-vis, the rest of the stocks and also the opportunity, I think is pretty good. So I would say you continue to hold Max Health at current levels. I would say you should see better levels after this consolidation phase over the next 1 year. And especially a lot of changes that are happening in the various GST charges that are going to be put on policies, and hopefully it will show a better volume growth. So I would say Max Health you could continue to hold.
All right, Max Health is a better bet and should continue to hold Max Health at least. Let's move on to the next question then. And this is coming from Seema from Dubai. Seema says that she's bought 10 shares of Grindwell at a buying price of 2,600 in May 2024. Should she hold it or should she sell? She also wants to know your view on Bandhan Bank that she's bought at a buying price of 277. Clearly sitting at a loss here. What should she do? Hold or sell? Himain, let me come to you for this. Grindwell and Bandhan Bank, hold or sell?
Grindwell on all time frames looks wobbly except the short term. So medium term and long term doesn't look good. But this is on the back of a stock which goes from 100 to 2,950. So give it a couple of years to recover simply because it's tired. So frankly speaking, Grindwell Norton going nowhere. Going to take some time. Shorter term view is a recovery is underway. We'd probably see 1850. That's the time to sell on bounce unless you have a very longer term view. The other stock is Bandhan Bank. It's been an abysmal underperformer, honestly speaking. We've gone nowhere over the last, it peaked in 2018 or so. And since then, we haven't done anything notable. So I'd say, unless you have a lot of patience, but it doesn't look convincing or compelling at this point of view, except for being oversold from a longer term point of view. We need to see at least a basic height of higher bottom, which still hasn't played out. So I'd say sell on bounce.
Okay, so that's the view on Bandhan Bank and Grindwell. But moving on to the next query then. This one is also actually from Seema. She wants to know which one would be a better pick, Trent or Indigo, that is Interglobe Aviation. Is it a good time to buy any of these two? Shaina, let me come to you. Both of these companies, they are going to be impacted by the GST rate rationalization. Of course, we have heard about how consumption is going to get a boost there. But in terms of Indigo, there's also going to be premium flying is going to become slightly expensive because of the GST 2.0 reforms. So what do you think? What's the fundamental view here for both Trent and Indigo?
Between the two, if I was to be a medium to longer term investor, I would prefer a trend. There, while the valuations are expensive, which is also the case for Indigo, but trend valuations are expensive. But after this huge period of consolidation, I would say that it's a better pick. Maybe you could take it at declines. Maybe somewhere close to about 5,000 levels would be a better bet if you want to add. But you could keep adding it, and especially with consumption and with lower GST, volumes are expected to increase more money in the hands of consumers. So I think shopping textiles should do better over the shorter to medium term. So I would say Trent is a decent pick. If you can get it at any dips, you could add it and hold it for the longer term.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Trent. But with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll keep answering your questions. Stay tuned. Stock specific questions answered. And now we're joined on the phone line by a live caller, Rajendra Prasad, who's joining us from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Rajendra. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us what's your question here.
Thank you, madam. Good morning. This is Dr. Rajendra Prasad from Rajahmundry, and I am holding Central Bank of India shares of around 27 lakhs at a price of 38 rupees. I bought. I would like to know the prospect of Central Bank of India share, ma'am.
All right, China, prospects for Central Bank of India. He's bought it at a buying price of 38 rupees. What is your time horizon, Rajendra? Is it a year?
1.5 months, ma'am. 1.5 months more.
Oh, 1.5 months. That's a very small time frame. Himen, let me come to you. What are the levels to watch out for in Central Bank?
Top loss of 34, need the closing about 37. Till then, going nowhere. A bounce is underway. Short term doesn't look that exciting.
China, let me get in your word also on Central Bank.
See, in terms of valuation, it is less than one time price to book. Having said that, I think there are better banks available for the medium to longer term. In fact, even I would prefer a BOB over central bank. So I would say at least partly you switch in the bounds.
Okay, so you could partly switch to some of the other banks. I hope, Rajendra, your query was answered. Thank you so much for calling us today. But moving on to the next query then. This is coming from Joseph, who's writing in from Chennai. His question is about the realty player, Oberoi Realty. He says he's bought 50 shares of Oberoi Realty at a price of 1,880 rupees. He bought them 2 months ago. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell at the current juncture. Hemant sir, let me come to you for this one.
I'd be more comfortable with its time frame coming in, frankly speaking. If it's a short-term view, it's a sell on bounce. If it's a view for 18 months or more, it's a very clear hold.
To the next question coming in from Praveen from Chennai. He says he wants your view on PFC. Good time to average for long term, or do you suggest selling it? He's bought it at a 2024 peak to a 430 levels that he's bought PFC. Himen, what should he do? Should he average in or should he sell out on PFC? She's bought it at a buying price of 430.
Hold, patience needed. Needs to hold at least for 18 months. Just a general little bit of advice. If the stock goes up from 60 rupees to 580, you need to give it some time and price, because sometimes they run out of valuations also. So if it's been this humongous multi-bagger, don't expect anything in the next 2 years after that. Is a general observation. So I hope that helps. But yes, 2 years or more holding, nothing to worry about. It gives a decent dividend also. Anything lesser than that, it's going to take time.
Okay, so that's the view on PFC. But moving on to the next query then. This is coming from DS Prasad. He's a senior citizen writing from Hyderabad. Shaina is a long-term investor, and also he said he's very fond of watching our show. Thank you so much for those words. Appreciate your support for the show. But the query is on GAIL. He has 1,500 shares at a price of 200 rupees. He wants to know how is the stock expected to do from a medium to long-term perspective, Shaina?
I think that the stock should do reasonably well for the longer term. In the shorter term, you may see some bit of consolidation going forward. But in terms of valuation, it is not expensive. And we have news that they may increase their volumes as well as average realizations. So to that extent, if your holding period is more than 6 months to 1 year, then you could hold. Keep a stop loss close to about 160.
All right, so that's the view coming in on GAIL India. Let's move on to the next question. This is coming in from Hyderabad. There is this Pavan who's writing in from Hyderabad. He says he has REC at a buying price of 474. Can he hold it or should he average in? Himain, REC, he's clearly sitting at a loss. What should he do?
Same advice as PFC, hold or add on declines, but at least 18 months. Everything is fine, is run up ahead of its time. So we are seeing a correction of a greater degree.
Okay, so that's the view on REC. But moving on to the next question, it's on Devyani International. The viewer Anshu, he's writing from Jaipur. They have 250 shares at a price of 183. They haven't really given us a time horizon, but assuming it's from a relatively longer time period, Shahina, what do you think are the fundamentals looking like for Devyani International, say for a period of about 1 to 2 years?
Over the period of 1 to 2 years, yeah, stocks should look better because QSR is looking up, and they have moved from losses to profits in the last year as well as first quarter. They did pretty well. So if you have a longer term holding period, yeah, you can continue to hold, and you could keep a stop loss close to about 170 if you're looking at maybe the 6 months to 1 year time frame.
All right, Shaina and Himain, thank you so much for joining us. This was the last stock question for the day. Thank you for joining us and answering all the questions. We'll let you go on that note. But moving on to the protests that have toppled the Himalayan nation's government, the trade impact between India and Nepal too is going to be in focus along with unstable political scenario. My colleague Sharad decodes how India-Nepal trade and which sectors and companies are likely to be affected.
The geopolitical tensions have increased when it comes to Nepal, but let's look at how the business stands when it comes to India's trade. India is largely the biggest trade partner for Nepal. In FY24, India exported to Nepal almost $7 billion worth of goods and services, while imports was a very minimal mark. Now, India is Nepal's largest export destination with almost 68% of Nepal's exports coming in. Also, the major exports from Nepal to India, they include hydroelectricity, resin, agricultural produce, cardamom, carpets and handicrafts. But for the main imports from India, they include petroleum products, chemical fertilizers, salt, sugar, rice, vehicles, machinery and even iron and steel. Also, there is an energy collaboration also between both the nations. But the question is, will the listed space be impacted overall? Overall, we could say that the minimal exposure is there when it comes to most of the sectors in India. GMR Power, there's a Nepal hydro project also coming up with the Nepal government. Interestingly, Bikaji Foods has a JV with a Chaudhary Group, which is based out of Nepal, and Bajaj Finance, Tata Group, SBI, ICICI Bank and some financials do have some licensing centers, but a very, very minimal exposure when it comes to Nepal. Varun Beverages Nepal business constitutes roughly 3% of the consolidated revenue, and even recently Reliance Group's Campa also ventured in this new category. From Nuvama, Bangladesh has stated, of course, we could see the FMCG names such as Dabur, ITC, Marico, HUL also having presence in Nepal itself. And as per the note by Nuvama, that stated that Bangladesh also, we did see not major long-term impact coming in on Marico, but Imami did see an impact because of its greater exposure in the eastern India and the Bangladesh segment. But net for Nepal and India's trade and listed players, there isn't much significant impact.
All right, so minimal exposure as of now, but let's see how that pans out and if it affects any of the listed players in the Indian market. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Ankita and I will take your leave, but don't go anywhere as markets at noon will take all the action forward.